Remember the days of getting demo discs? Whether through magazines or through stores, there was an excitement to either try out demos for games prior to release, or even checking out videos of upcoming ones. In a time when we didn't have instant access to everything at our fingertips, there was something special about waiting to check out all the contents without immediacy. Back in the day, pre-ordering a game had far more excitement and incentive. Unlike nowadays, where games either offer some frivolous cosmetic or somewhat early access to multiplayer, during the 6th generation, games actually had interesting pre-order bonuses, some of which actually provided physical discs to play on your console. In this episode, I want to cover every bonus disc that was provided when either pre-ordering a GameCube game or through another means. So, without further ado, let's get to it. When The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker was approaching its launch, Nintendo announced a special deal in which if you pre-ordered the game, you will receive an extra bonus disc with The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and the never-before-released outside of Japan, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Master Quest. The Master Quest was a dramatically more difficult version of Ocarina of Time, with different enemy and item placement, as well as different puzzle solutions. The emulation of these games were excellent, and the controls felt like a natural fit on the GameCube controller. More impressive is that these versions ran at 640 by 480, which was a big jump in resolution compared to the N64 version. To further add to that, it also supported progressive scan. Additionally, there were bonus videos to check out of upcoming games, as well as a cool sizzle reel of more games coming out. Another way to get this was in a special variant of Wind Waker that was actually a 2-disc set including this bonus disc. When this was announced, I immediately had my brother drive me to the mall so I could pre-order Wind Waker to get this. Easily one of, if not my favorite pre-order bonus ever, and one that truly incentivized pre-ordering a game. In a push to get more GameCube consoles sold, Nintendo released the Platinum Color console for only $99 and bundled it with The Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition disc. This disc included The Legend of Zelda 2 Link's Awakening, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. This also included a demo for The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. This was another exciting compilation that honestly was something that should have happened for the Zelda 35th anniversary this year and put onto the Switch. All 4 games here do play excellent, with Majora's Mask running great being that it was requiring an N64 expansion pack back in the day. Ocarina of Time runs exactly the same as it did on the previous bonus disc, so nothing to worry about here. And naturally, both NES games run perfectly, and there was never any worry about that one as well. This is one collector's edition that's actually been going up in price quite a bit, but if you can still nab it, it's really awesome to have in your collection. In a special 2-disc variant of Mario Kart Double Dash, this game actually had a bonus disc that included playable demos for Mario Party 5, F-Zero GX, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Star Wars Rebel Strike Rogue Squadron 3, and Sonic Heroes. Additionally, there were also video trailers for more upcoming titles for the GameCube. What was really special about this one though was that there is actually a bonus item for owners of Fire Emblem on the GBA. When connecting the Fire Emblem game through the GBA to the GameCube, when you have this disc, it actually unlocks 14 items and 2 additional songs for the game. This alone for Fire Emblem fans on the GBA was well worth getting. Metroid Prime was a massive title for the GameCube, and with the upcoming Metroid Prime 2, Nintendo was pushing the promotions on the sequel. They released a new variant of Metroid Prime 1 to include this bonus disc, as well as a new GameCube console bundle that included Metroid Prime 1 and the Metroid Prime 2 Echoes bonus disc as well. You were also able to receive this disc by registering a certain number of your games on Nintendo's official website. This bonus disc features a playable demo based on the E3 2004 build, as well as a trailer for the game. The gameplay feels more or less the same in this demo as the final build, which is to be expected since the gameplay mechanics were already fine-tuned in its predecessor. However, the coolest feature on this disc is the Chronicles section. This shows the timeline of every Metroid title released up to this point, with video clips playing in the background, as well as a synopsis of every installment at that time. Stuff like this I always find fascinating and makes this bonus disc worthy of owning. Ribbit King is a pretty unique game for the GameCube based on a Japanese animated series. Every copy of the game did come with Ribbit King Plus bonus disc. This bonus disc is actually just animated short videos to watch, and the more you progress through the main game, the more videos that will be unlocked to watch here. Other than that, there's not much else to really mention about this one, but it is a bonus disc that is included with the game, so I had to mention it.
Don't hit the frog! Just practice till you drop! I got you covered! Right! This doesn't look good! Ribbit King Plus!
Pokemon Colosseum was the first GameCube Pokemon game, and it had a bonus disc variant. This bonus disc actually had no playable demos, but rather a trailer for Pokemon Colosseum and the upcoming Pokemon animated movie based on this generation. However, the biggest takeaway is the ability to download an exclusive Pokemon, Jirachi, to bring into your Pokemon Sapphire and Ruby GBA games using the GBA GC link cable. Nintendo and the Pokemon Company have done numerous examples of getting exclusive Pokemon over the years, even more recently on the Switch's Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee editions by getting the Pokeball Plus controller to get instant access to Mew in those games. I always found this to be an enticing way to get exclusive Pokemon that you can't get any other way.
In an all-new role-playing adventure taking place in a whole new region, Pokemon come to life like never before. Travel to the farthest corners of a wild world, explore new towns, meet fascinating trainers, and uncover mischief.
Another great example of an incentive to pre-order a game was for the upcoming Star Wars Rebel Strike Rogue Squadron 3. It had a bonus disc that had a playable demo for Rebel Strike, as well as various videos of the upcoming GameCube games. However, the main incentive of this disc was getting a full copy of the Star Wars 1982 arcade game by Atari. The port for this was well done, and a really cool bonus to incentivize going to the store and pre-ordering a copy of the game. Additionally, Target offered a 2-disc variant that included this exact bonus disc, but this variant is much harder to come by. The original pre-order version with its own box is quite common to come across still. I really like the idea of having an arcade port of the original as a bonus pre-order incentive, although I'm still waiting for a proper port of the 90s Star Wars Trilogy arcade game, not the 32X port, because this original arcade game was amazing.
Yahoo! You're all clear, kid!
PacMan Versus is a game that was actually developed with Miyamoto-san behind the idea. This game was actually provided as a bonus if you pre-ordered Namco's upcoming iNinja or R Racing Revolution games. Additionally, there was a variant of Pac-Man World 2 that included PacMan Versus as part of a 2-disc set. This multiplayer-only title was a very unique one in which it required the Game Boy Advance with the GBA GC link cable. The player connected with the Game Boy Advance would use the handheld to play as Pac-Man in an 8-bit visual aesthetic, while up to 3 remaining players in the GameCube would look at the TV screen and control the ghosts trying to get Pac-Man. The ghosts have limited perspective, and the players will need to work together trying to find Pac-Man by looking for a trail. In the meantime, the player controlling Pac-Man has a view of the entire level and where the ghosts are. Pac-Man does move slower in this game than any other Pac-Man rendition, but this idea is actually awesome. Just recently, I held a game night with friends and family, and we had this as one of our multiplayer games to play, which ended up being a majority of everyone's favorite multiplayer game of the night. Now, what's great is that you can actually play Pac-Man Versus on the Switch, as it's part of the Namco Arcade Pack. And players can download a free Pac-Man Versus guest app if they're playing as the ghosts. I remember getting Pac-Man Versus on the GameCube when I bought iNinja, and EB Games had a bunch of extra copies that they were just giving out to people that were buying Namco published games that were on the GameCube. The Nintendo GameCube preview disc is an interesting one, as it was the only preview disc that was not provided by any special means. Instead, this one was actually sold on store shelves for about $5 if I recall. This disc contained playable demos for 5 games: Soul Calibur 2, Billy Hatcher, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, Sonic Adventure DX, and Beautiful Joe. Additionally, you were able to download a copy of Dr. Mario from your NES to your GBA to play, as well as a WarioWare game download for your GBA. Alongside the demos were videos of upcoming GameCube games as expected through these discs. But what's interesting is that this is technically volume 5 of the demo discs made available to the public. From my knowledge, there are a total of 35 volumes of demo discs that have become fond collector's items for the GameCube. Resident Evil 4 preview disc was available to those who either pre-ordered the game or also did a mail-in offer if you purchased the Pure Evil 2-pack. I covered this in a dedicated video comparing this build versus the final build a few months ago, so I won't spend too much time here. Essentially, this disc has trailers for every Resident Evil game released in the GameCube, as well as a playable demo for Resident Evil 4. This is a really neat preview disc, and if you haven't seen my comparisons video for this, I definitely recommend checking it out, as the differences between the preview build and final build are fairly extensive. Now, this next bonus disc is actually exclusive to the Japanese market. Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes was a pretty big exclusive for the GameCube, and it's still fully exclusive to the console all these years later. To push a bit more promotion for the game in Japan, they released a Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes Premium Edition GameCube console bundle, which included a special colored GameCube, a copy of Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes, and the Metal Gear Special Disc. This special disc had a trailer for Twin Snakes, as well as a fully playable emulated version of Metal Gear on the NES. Now, this Metal Gear game on the NES was not helmed by Kojima in any way, and is typically regarded as just okay, but the true Metal Gear games are typically the MSX games that were made available stateside when Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence released. Still, it's a neat disc if you're looking to play the NES Metal Gear on here, but you'll need to know Japanese, as this disc was specifically tailored as an exclusive in the Japanese region. The last bonus disc I want to cover is Tower of Druaga. This was a pre-order bonus if you pre-ordered Namco's anticipated JRPG, Baten Kaitos, Eternal Wings, and The Lost Ocean. Now, before you go, wait a minute, I pre-ordered this and never got this disc. That's because this was also exclusive to the Japanese market. This Tower of Druaga bonus disc is simply the Famicom port emulated onto the GameCube. It plays perfectly fine technically, but to be fair, I find Tower of Druaga to be very underwhelming. The game looks neat based on screenshots, but once you start playing it, it's incredibly slow and it's just not all that engaging. Still, a nice bonus disc to incentivize pre-ordering Baten Kaitos in Japan. Now, these were all the bonus discs that I'm aware of that were made available for the public in some capacity, whether it be pre-orders or special console bundles. In terms of pre-orders though, these were times when it was actually exciting and, more importantly, meaningful to pre-order a game. I personally never understood pre-ordering a game if there was never any incentive to, since technically I could always just go to the store the day a game comes out and just pick it up without issue. Nowadays, we see ads all over the place for pre-order this game now and get a special skin exclusively at so-and-so. We're currently in an age where the gaming industry seems to push digital cosmetic content that is essentially totally useless and not meaningful in any way. That being said, what do you guys think? Did you guys have any of these? Any memories pre-ordering a game or buying a special bundle just to get an exclusive physical item? Sound off in the comments below, as I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video.